implementing contextual teaching and learning models in Islamic religious education learning. Authors Bahrul Ulum and Imam Shafi'i. Source Journal of Teaching and Learning, Volume 1, page number 45 to 53. Date of publication September 2022. Introduction. The learning model is one of the components that influence the learning activity of students. PAI learning, which is the science. Introduction. The learning models is one of the components that influence the learning activities of students. PAI learning, which is the science or worship of course, is not only limited to the theory given but also connect the material presented with the surrounding environment and the real world situation of students, so that it can give birth to a scientific attitude toward PAI concept. This study aims to analyze the planning, implementation, and supporting and inhibiting factor of the contextual teaching and learning model in PAI learning at Bakalan Elementary School, Pasuruan City. This research used descriptive qualitative research, data collection techniques used in this study, field interview, observation, and document. In data analysis, the researcher this research used descriptive qualitative research. Data collection techniques used in this study were interview, observation, on documentation. In data analysis, the researcher used a qualitative data using triangulation, implication, and peer correction. The substantive finding of the implementation of contextual teaching and learning. Learning model PAI learning at Bakalan State Elementary School, Pasuruan, includes the requirement for the implementation of the learning process, which explain learning group, the minimum workload of PAI teacher, textbook, classroom management, implementation of learning, which explaining the final activity, assessment, explaining attitude, assessment, skill assessment, cumulative assessment. This research is significant for several reasons. Number one, relevance. The contextual teaching and learning model is a widely promoted teaching approach. Yes, it is implementation, particularly in religious education, requires further investigation. Number two, practical contribution. The findings of this study can offer valuable insight for teachers, school, and policymakers to enhance the quality of Islamic religious education PAI instruction. Number three, theoretical development. This research can contribute to the development of theories concerning the implementation of the contextual learning model, especially within the context of religious education. Purpose of the article. The main objective of this article is to analyze the application of contextual learning model in Islamic religious education PAI learning at Bakalan Elementary School, Pasuruan City. More specifically, the authors aim to, number one, describe how the contextual learning model is planned and implemented in the context of PAI learning. Number 2, identify the key components of the contextual learning model that are being used. Number 3, analysis the factors that support and hinder the successful implementation of the contextual learning model. Number 4, evaluate the effectiveness of the contextual learning model in improving the quality of PAI learning. Number 5, provide recommendation for improving in developing PAI learning based on the research findings. In other words, the authors want to understand how will the contextual learning model, which emphasizes to connection between learning material and students' real life experiences, is appropriate and benefits PAI learning in essence. The authors aim to provide a clear understanding of how the contextual learning model functions in the practical application of PAI teaching at the studied school and to offer recommendation of improvement and future development. Research method. The research method employed in this study is qualitative. Research or discussion, understanding the context. The provided expert discusses the planning of a contextual teaching and learning models of Islamic education learning at Bakalan Elementary School in Pasuruan, Indonesia. The focus is the planning process and the elements that contribute to a successful implementation of contextual teaching and learning in a PAI context. Based on the text, the key findings and discussion points can be summarized as follows. Importance of planning in contextual learning. Component of contextual learning planning, learning objective, syllabus development, lesson planning. Conclusion. Third, a plan to lesson and lesson to plan activity. This is because plan to lesson activities aim to prepare a complete lesson plan before being used by teacher during the PAI learning process. The implementation of the contextual teaching and learning model in PAI learning at the Negeri Bakalan City of Pasuruan includes the requirement of the implementation of the learning process, which explain learning group, minimum workload of PAI teachers, textbook, classroom management, implementation of learning, which explain about final activity, assessment, explaining attitude assessment, knowledge assessment. This study provides evidence based on the theory that this research has provided and building or contribution to the study of science that is aligned with this research, especially in the learning theory of Islamic religious education with the contextual learning model.